All right, welcome back. The objective for this lesson is basically to be able to describe the effect of multiplying or dividing a real number by a decimal. And so that's your objective. You can write that down for your notes. And so I'm just going to give you a few examples and then hopefully at least get you started on being able to describe the effect of multiplying and dividing real numbers by decimals. So again, please write Cornell notes. Left side will be your cues, right side will be illustrations and examples, and you can write down not only just the things that I say, but anything else that you want to add to it that's going to help you remember and know this concept. Okay, so let's get started with the first example is going to be if I have 5, the whole number 5, and I multiply times 0.2, what's going to happen? Now, the goal here is not necessarily to give the exact answer, but I think that given, I want you to be able to tell me, is that going to be a big number, is it going to be a small number, and just to describe the effect. So we have 5 single units here, 5 ones if you want to call it that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to be multiplying that times 0.2. Now if we think of 0.2 as a fraction, maybe that's a little bit easier to think of it. So if we take this and picture this as a whole, okay, as a whole unit, if we take 1/5 of that or 0.2 of that, that's going to be this much. And so if we take 5 single units and if we take 1/5 or 0.2 of that, that's going to just be this one unit right here. So 5 multiplied by a decimal of 0.2 actually gives you 1. It's less than the original amount when you multiply it by a smaller decimal. Let's try the next one. We have 5 divided by a decimal now. 5 divided by 0.2 instead of times. So we have again the 5 single units here, 5 whole units, and we're dividing that by 0.2. So we're going to take this and we're going to divide each one of these units into, here's a 1, so here's a 0.2, and here's a 0.2, and here's a 0.2, and here's a 0.2. And so we're taking these 5 1 units and we're dividing them by up into 0.2 unit sections. So if we continue to do that, and I won't do them all, but you can see what's going to happen. You're going to get 25 0.2 segments. If you divide 5 into 0.2 segments, you're going to actually end up with a total of 25 of those. Okay, so that's the effect of a whole number 5 divided by a small decimal 0.2. Okay, next example. Let's go the other way. In a sense, we have a decimal 0.25, and we're going to multiply 0.25 times 8. Okay, so here is the whole single unit. This square represents 1 unit, and this red portion represents 0.25, the portion of 0.25 of that whole unit. And so if we take this 0.25 and then we have not 1 but actually 8 of those, okay, then you're going to have 1 here, and then this one's going to be another one, and this one's going to be another one, and here's another one here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have another one here, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you can see that that adds up to 1 more whole unit here. And so 0.25 times 8 gives us actually 2. Gives us 2. So it increases the original amount. Okay, and for this last example, you can see that this whole unit here, this is 1. This represents 1 unit, and I divided it into, we know that 0.25 is 1/4, so this represents 0.25 of this whole, if you want to say hundreds or 100 unit, this is 0.25, 25% of it, many different ways to say that. This is 0.25 of the whole 1. And then so we're going to take this 0.25 and divide it into 8 sections. So let me just draw this portion out here. Again, this is the whole unit. This is 1/4 of that, or 0.25 of that. And I'm going to draw down here into fourths, and then across here that will make it eighths. Okay, and so we've taken this 0.25 and we've divided it by 8 equal sections, and then 0.25 divided by 8, if you look, that's going to be one of these, this unit right here. That's what 0.25 divided by 8 will give you, this 1 unit. And we can see that this 1 unit here is actually, you can kind of do the math or estimate this. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. And there will be 32 of these little brick size units in this square. So if we take 0.25, divide that by 8, we have 1 over 32. And I believe that as a decimal is 0.03125. Okay, if you want to do the decimal for that, but that's a decimal divided by a whole number gives you a much smaller number to work with. And I guess to summarize, it's a little bit hard to generalize all these, but if you're multiplying a number greater than 1 times a number less than 1, you're going to end up with a number, the solution is going to be a number between those two. And we remember, right, 5 times 0.2 was 1, that's in between 5 and 0.2. And then 0.25 times 8, we got the result of 2, that's in between 0.25 and 8. And then when you're dividing, if you divide a number greater than 1 divided by a number less than 1, your final answer is going to be a much larger number. And if you take a number less than 1 and you divide it by a number greater than 1, you're going to get a much smaller answer. So that can be your summary for this unit, and hopefully you'll do some more investigating and be able to describe that maybe even better than I did. Hope you enjoyed this video.